going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Unsolicited with Sam and Jordyn. I am Sam. This is Jordyn. I didn't mention it to you before, but I love your hair like this, by the way.
Thank you.
It is a vibe.
Thank you. I never straighten it, but I brushed it out this morning and it was like nearly straight and I was running a little late anyway, so I just did it real quick. And you're like, a couple of people complimented it today and I'm kind of vibing with it.
No, it looks really good.
Thank you. I'm never normally a straight hair girly, so I love this.
Well, how are you? How's everything going?
I'm hanging in there, you know. Sam got the rundown a little bit before the podcast. I'm having quite the week, but it's okay. You know, everyone has those off weeks, and we have some really fun, exciting stuff coming up, which I'm going to toss over to Sam. Sam can introduce. We literally came up with this plan seconds before the show.
I would say, yeah, about 45 seconds ago.
We were actually supposed to start the show at 7 p.m., chatted at 7:09, had this idea, and now we are a minute into the podcast, and here it is.
Okay, so we are obviously sporty girls, and not only do we love sports in general, but we are big supporters in women's sports. We are highly all for women athletes, all that good stuff. And obviously March Madness, it has come upon us once again, which honestly is a very fun time of year, even if you're not into college basketball at all. I am not someone who watches college basketball, but I do a bracket every single year. And I know that a lot of people, including us, we've always done a men's and a women's bracket. And this year, women's March Madness is dominating headlines between Angel Reese, between Caitlin Clark, South Carolina. It is just incredible. And we have decided that everybody does groups with the men's bracket, which I can tell you one man out of the men's group, Zach Edey. That's the only name that I know.
You're better than me. I couldn't tell you one. So
that's it. And I think it's only because I work in March Madness world right now at work. So we decided, why not have a women's bracket challenge? So we are putting together the Unsolicited March Madness Challenge, where we are going to we'll put the link in the description of everywhere where we post. We'll put it on our social media pages. But if you'd like to join and create a women's bracket for funsies, and put together who you think is going to win the tournament, we have decided that we're going to be giving out a $20 gift card to whoever wins the bracket. Taking ourselves out of the equation, I'm assuming. I don't know if I could.
I'll just go to Barnes & Noble and buy myself a book for $20 for myself.
There you go. But yeah, and so whoever ends up winning, it'll get like a fun little prize at the end. There's no money to qualify for it. You just sign up. And like I said, we'll put all the links all together on our socials, in this description of this video, on our podcast platforms, all that good stuff. But yeah, so if you want to fill out a women's bracket with us, go for it.
Yes. No, I am so excited that we thought of this idea literally 5 minutes ago. Because like you already mentioned, the women's March Madness tournament is so much more exciting. There's so much more drama. There's so many more big names in the women's tournament this year than the men's. And I'm sure that the men's is always great. You know, it's fun, but the women's really, you literally said it word for word, they're dominating. It's a lot more fun. I didn't have anyone to do a women's bracket with, so me and Sam are going to go head to head, and now we are going to open it up to the public. We want all of you to join us. Go head to head against me and Sam, and we'll see who has the best women's March Madness bracket.
Yeah, so this episode will be coming out Thursday, the 21st, and the women's will be starting on the 22nd. So please make sure to get your brackets in by Friday morning before the games begin, because then after that, I don't think you can fill out the bracket unless I'm wrong. So if you want to do it, make sure you do it today, tonight, tomorrow morning, whenever you guys have a chance to, because I think it'll be a lot of fun. And like I said, someone might get a fun $20 gift card out of it. If you want to choose, like whoever wins, I feel like if you want to tell us where you want a $20 gift card to, like, we'll just give it to you. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
You want a Visa gift card for whatever you want.
I will literally Venmo you $20.
Literally send us your Zelle and we'll just send it to you. Whatever you want.
Just please hang out with us and make a women's March Madness bracket. We're paying for friends right now.
all we want. We just want other people to want to hang out with us and do women's and sports stuff. So I have already filled out my bracket. We talked about this a little earlier today, before we started. But Caitlin Clark is one of the most impressive female basketball stars ever. She broke the record for points scored in collegiate history, not just women's, in collegiate history. And I don't know why, but my body is like, Iowa is too strong of a choice to be picking to win the entire thing. So I did go LSU, who are technically a quote unquote bracket buster. So I went with them because a lot of people are picking South Carolina, some people are picking Iowa. So I went with LSU to be a little bit different. But I know that you are like a diehard Caitlin Clark girly.
No, I know. I feel like I told Sam this before the show as well. I just feel like I'm going to end up taking Iowa just because I want to see her win it. There's something so like compelling about her just as an athlete. And the one thing that I keep thinking, and I started thinking this when I saw the comparison picture that she did, her versus Kobe, I so wish he was here to witness her journey because
don't make me cry.
No, can you imagine how much he would love to watch her and like what an inspiration she would be? And all these women's college basketball players, I'm biased because I'm obsessed with her, but it's so heartwarming and I love her so much. So yeah, I feel like I'm going to end up taking Iowa, but we'll see. Maybe I'll be able to go in and tweak.
I think go with your heart.
Yeah.
That if we're gonna put anything out there, I'm gonna tell you, for years I did March Madness brackets without having any knowledge. I'm still trying to recruit people for this. I'm really trying to get people to do this. You do not have to know college basketball to fill out this bracket. I barely know anything about college basketball, but it's so fun. And last year I picked UConn to win the men's tournament as the final. Do I know anything about UConn men's basketball? Absolutely fucking not. But I chose them to win. And then look at that. They won the whole tournament.
Well, speaking of that, do you want to hear a funny story? And this is also me trying to convince everyone to join our bracket challenge.
Yes,
but I am literally, and I may have told you this already, I am literally like the March Madness baby. My birthday is March 30th. The night I was born in 1998 was the night of the national championship game. It was Kentucky playing Utah and Kentucky won. So now I have this like weird thing for Kentucky because they won the night of my birth.
Fair.
However, last year they royally screwed me over and I'm pretty sure lost in the second round. So literally like second game to like a 15 seed. So you know what? No, it actually might have been their first game. I think they were a 2 seed and lost to a 15.
Yeah, I think
so. That was fun.
You know, fun little fun fact for the people who haven't filled out their brackets yet. It is like very, very, very possible for 15 seeds to beat number 2 seeds. Like more likely than not, 15 seeds will beat number 2 seeds. So.
And 4s and 12s are a really good upset. There's only been one time ever, and this was like 2 or 3 years ago, that a 1 seed has ever been upset by a 16 seed. So obviously there's a chance for everything. Do with that what you will, but usually the 1 seeds win on day 1. Those are some of my fun little pointers.
Yeah, there's some fun little tidbits there for when you're filling them out. But if you want to go by like color, do it.
Yes.
If you want to go by names, do it.
Oh my God, when I was a kid, Wichita State was really, and they're still in it here and there, but they were a big men's March Madness team when I was growing up. I was obsessed with the song 7 Nation Army. I always had Wichita winning a couple games just because the lyric in the song said, "I'm going to Wichita." That was my thought process. I was like, oh, I love them.
That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. I picked for my men's bracket, I picked Marquette to win the entire thing because I thought I was eating tater tots and I said potato, croquette, Marquette. They're going to win the tournament. Like that's how I picked my men's, like true story. I did this yesterday.
That is hysterical.
Because I'm like, it's crazy like how the tides have shifted. Like the fact that I'm literally like, I don't give a fuck about this men's tournament. Like, not even a little bit.
No, I'm going to go rogue. I get super into it though. My family does a huge March Madness bracket. We take it very seriously. So I will get very into it, but there's a lot of schools in here. Again, I know nothing, so I'm just going to pick. Do you want to hear something? Oh, wait, no. Oh no, I had it wrong. So my cousin goes to James Madison, JMU.
Yep.
And they're in it. They had a great football year. Now they're in March Madness.
Yeah.
So we were so excited. I read the bracket wrong the other night. My uncle, her father, is a huge Duke fan. Like, we go out for the Duke Carolina games, and I thought they were playing each other. And I was like, oh, that's so awful. Like, who's he gonna pick? Because my other cousin, his son, went to San Diego State, who, as we know, made it very far last year. I think championship game. So my family likes to pick for like wherever the kids go. But it's okay because they're actually not playing each other.
I think San Diego State got to the
yes,
like the championship game.
Yes, and
is that what you just said?
Yes, and I'm pretty sure Jackson. It's okay.
I heard like Final Four or something, and I was like, I think they made it to the championship game.
Maybe. I don't even know what I said, if I'm being honest. So
guess we'll find out in post.
We're just gonna, literally. You guys will find out at the same time we do. But no, my cousin Jackson, who went to San Diego State, I'm pretty sure he didn't even take them like far enough for it to like really help. He took them far, but definitely not championship.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's the fun thing about March Madness is like seeing how good your bracket is up into a certain point. Like, nobody has anyone ever had a perfect bracket?
That's what I was going to just say, to add in another reason for people to join our Women's March Madness Bracket Challenge. No one has ever in the history of the world had a perfect bracket.
That's amazing.
It's harder to get a perfect March Madness bracket than it is to win the lottery.
That doesn't surprise me. There's a lot more chances in a March Madness bracket for things to go wrong. But yeah, I know Barack Obama does them.
Yes.
If that's any consolation to anybody out there.
That's a selling point. We need Taylor Swift to fill out a Women's March Madness bracket, and then everyone would love it.
She's a very influential woman. We're trying to be as influential as Taylor Swift for women's sports.
Yes.
Like I said, the links will be everywhere. Yes, go ahead.
Also, this could be a good segue. Speaking of Taylor Swift means speaking of Travis Kelce. Did you see that he is like in the running to host a reboot version of Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?
I did see that.
I would watch the fuck out of that.
And he'd be hilarious.
He would be so funny. Him hanging out with little kids all day. Like, it would be so fun.
And he would fit in so well because like it's kind of his vibe, right?
Yes.
Like not that he's a little kid, but like he has those kind of tendencies to be like kind of silly.
And he's Uncle Travie, and he's so cute with his little nieces. So
true. So true. I would love to see that, especially because when Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader was on TV, with Jeff Foxworthy as the host, I watched that shit every day or whenever it was on TV.
I'm pretty sure it was on, I can't remember if it was either like right before or right after American Idol. It must have been before. But I remember we always had like nights, me, my mom, my sister, that was like, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader, American Idol. And they were good times.
Yeah. I actually loved the show so much that my mom bought me a board game of some kind. And it was like, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? And it had like this like pamphlet, like just like filled with questions of random things like, what is the capital of Ohio? And it's like things that you definitely don't know, but like if you're learning in fifth grade, you'd figure it out. It was so much fun.
I loved it so much. Cleveland the capital of Ohio?
I don't know. What is the capital of Ohio? Columbus.
Why is every city in Ohio start with a C?
You just said city-o. Why is every city-o in Ohio?
Remember when I started this show and I told you all that I had a long week? It's Tuesday, and this is where we're at. Let me back up. Why does every city in Ohio start with a C?
It's a great question.
Columbus, Cincinnati, Cleveland. Those are the only ones I know.
I was going to say, I don't. Well, there's Akron. That's the only other one I think I would know.
So that's an A. I did not know Akron was in Ohio.
That's where LeBron James is from.
Oh,
that's the only reason why I know where Akron, Ohio is.
That's valid.
Well, anyway, March Madness, baby. Love that.
March Madness.
And for those that are very unfamiliar, guess what? It goes into April and becomes April Madness, which doesn't have as cool of a ring to it, but it will go until the first weekend of April.
Yeah, when I feel like every year it gets pushed back farther and farther, and I don't get it. Like, it's called March Madness for a reason. Like, do the prep work to have it start normal. Like, again, when I was born, March 30th, that was the championship game.
That makes a lot more sense because there's 31 days in March.
Yes. Whatever. I'm sure there's a reason, but I don't care to know it, and I wish it didn't exist.
Whatever. But anyway, join our bracket challenge. Links will be in the
bracket challenge.
Speaking of sports, shall we discuss like the one last free agency thing that happened apart from Kenny Pickett going to the Eagles?
Which
in and of itself so random. But Justin Fields became a Pittsburgh Steeler over the weekend, shocked the world. I was shocked. My brother sent me several gifs of just like surprised face because he was like, what the fuck is going on right now? Yeah. What are your thoughts? Is this gonna be a quarterback battle?
I think the funniest thing ever is that the news broke in the middle of the day Saturday when you know Chicago throws a giant St. Patrick's Day celebration, dye the whole river green. I saw so many TikToks of girls just going like this after the news and guys just being like not knowing what to do. I saw one of a boyfriend laying in his girlfriend's lap, looking at Justin Fields highlights, crying. And I thought that was the funniest thing ever. But no, everyone knows I am a Justin Fields truther. I love this man. And at first I was like a little unsure. I had to digest it a little bit just because I really did want him to be a starter. And I knew the options were limited. It does seem like Russell Wilson. They said, no, Russell Wilson's the starter. That's what they're saying. But no matter what, even if Justin Fields, say he sits for the entire season, I don't think he's going to. Say he does, I still think this is a really good system for him to be in. And they only signed Russell Wilson to a one-year deal. So Justin Fields could actually become like the franchise quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers and having the time to actually be under Mike Tomlin, like be with someone who can actually help him grow and evolve as a quarterback, be in a system that can take better care of him. This may be really good for his longevity. I am predicting that he's the starter by week 5.
That's a very good prediction. And I love that. I would love to just watch Russell Wilson get benched. I have no problem with Russell Wilson, to be honest with you. I don't know why his stock has fallen for me, but I would love that.
I did think it was very, very nice, though, when the Justin Fields trade happened. He like tweeted at Justin Fields and was like, welcome, brother, like so excited, whatever he said. He said something very sweet and like welcoming, which again, I think for Justin Fields' development, this is going. Obviously, Russ is not the Russ that we are used to, the Russ of Russ's past, shall I? I don't have a brain anymore. I'm so sorry. But I do, at the end of the day, I do think that this is going to be good for Justin Fields. What's your brother? Sam's brother is a huge Steelers fan, as we kind of alluded to with the shock gifs. But what does he think of it?
Yeah, I think he's on board with it. But it was funny. So Friday afternoon-ish, I went to my parents' house to watch the Eras Tour movie, which we didn't even talk about at all. But I got there, and as I was pulling up to park my car was when I got the Kenny Pickett news. and you and I were just sending just random letters to each other. There was no conversation. It was just we never talk about when things happen. We just go, "What?" And then that's it. But then we don't text each other again. Which is exactly how we just need the other person to know that it's happening, and then that's it. So we send each other our messages. I was in my car. I like run into the house. I'm also carrying about 6 boxes filled with like stuff for my wedding because I keep everything at my parents' house because I have no room here. And I'm like running into the house with all these boxes, and I like break open the door, and my brother's standing there, and I went, "Kenny Pickett is an Eagle." And he was just like, "I know." And I was like, "What does that mean?" And he goes, "I don't know, but it just means there's a spot open in our quarterback room." And I was like, "What does that mean? What do you know? Who do you know on the Steelers where you're getting all this inside information from?" He didn't know, but what's just really funny was just the fact that the next day, also when I got the Justin Fields news, I was about 2 White Claws in because I went to the city on Saturday night for a birthday party. And I was 2 White Claws in, which for me is good enough. I'm happy as a clam. And I'm sitting there and I get the notification and I literally went, and everybody at the table was sitting there, not sports fans. And they were like, "What's going on?" And I was like, "You won't understand, but it's a big deal." And they were like, "Cool." Okay. And obviously I immediately texted my brother. My brother was just like, oh my God, we filled the spot. What's going to happen? Oh my God. Like he was just like super stoked about it. So, I mean, they're building. And speaking of Mike Tomlin, did you see that Brandon Ayuk tweeted him out and was like, "Hey man, did you see that we look alike?
Yes.
Would you like to like figure out?" I don't even know what he said. He was like, I don't even know what the purpose of it was, but I was like, oh my God, is Brandon Ayuk going to become a Steeler? I love Brandon Ayuk.
Me too. And I want him off the dirty, crusty 49ers. Like, go anywhere else other than Dallas. Those two are forbidden. Like, I love him. He's phenomenal. Honestly, I think we can argue the most underrated receiver in the league. He didn't even make the Pro Bowl this year. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? He carried fantasy for me.
No, he was insane.
Insane. He's unbelievable. So yeah, no, I would love it. I've always like loved the Steelers for some reason. I have a Steagles. We've talked about this before. I think the reason is Mike Tomlin. I'm obsessed with Mike Tomlin. But yeah, I have a Steagles t-shirt from the year they spent together during World War II. But you know, people always talk about like a rivalry between Pittsburgh and Eagles. And I'm like, do you realize they're 8 hours away? Like, I'm like, there's nothing there.
Yeah, no, we went to ACOWAR Stadium, not this past season, the season before, and we saw the Steelers take on, I can very distinctly remember this. The Steelers took on the Buccaneers week 6, so I got to see Tom Brady IRL in the flesh, and they beat them. And it was insane. And I think, no, Mitch Trubisky wasn't there anymore. Somebody came in for Kenny Pickett.
I was going to say he got hurt in that game. Was it Rudolph?
I don't think so, because I would have been like, yeah.
I
didn't feel like that.
I didn't feel like that.
Was it Mitch Trubisky?
It could have 2 years ago. It could have been. Let me see. Bucks.
I'm trying to remember. I feel like Professor X right now. I'm like sitting here, like touching my temples, like trying to remember.
It wasn't a preseason game.
No, it was week 6, the 2022 season.
Oh yeah, Steelers won 20. Player stats. Steelers. It was Mitch Trubisky.
It was Mitch Trubisky because I was like, holy shit, it's Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah, Mitch Trubisky popped the fuck off. 9 of 12 for 144 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions.
No, it was a magical experience because my brother that day, he was like, not only have I seen Kenny Pickett and Tom Brady, I got to see Mitch Trubisky in the flesh. And I was like, this is an amazing day. But anyway, it's really, to go off of what you said, it's really far away.
No one cares about this week 6 game from 2022. And we're like, look at Mitch Trubisky's stats. Like, who the fuck cares?
Oh, there's somebody's going to be like, oh, thank you for bringing up that Mitch Trubisky game.
You know what? I think that was Mitch Trubisky's I'm him game.
You know what? It could have been. It could have been.
Remember.
I'm pretty sure for like a hot second, everybody was like, so should Mitch become the starter again?
Probably. I feel
like,
like with the Steelers, it's always a constant rotation.
But anyway, it's really far away. It took us like 6 hours to get there.
You know, far as fuck. So, yeah, long story short, Steelers are cool.
So long story short, Steelers are cool. Have Justin Fields, Russell Wilson. Yes, Russell Wilson's most likely going to start, but I would not be surprised if we see Justin Fields in one way or another out on that field. And good for him. Honestly, I think that this is going to be good for him for his career, like you mentioned before. And when he got drafted, that's what I was looking up. I was trying to figure out what year he was drafted. Was it Andy Dalton who was the starter?
So, yeah.
Because I don't think he ever had a solid, no disrespect to Andy Dalton. I love that man. Even when he went to Dallas, I was just like, fuck you, but also you've been around for so long. I have to respect you. I don't know if he was enough of a mentor specifically just because their games are so different.
Exactly. Like, and the Bears are just where quarterbacks go to die. So
true. Very true. I just don't think like Andy Dalton was the person to mentor Justin Fields. Like they were just not that fit. But I do think that Russell Wilson is a veteran quarterback to mentor Justin Fields even this far down in his career, which 3 years in?
Yeah. 4 years in. I think this is 4th year. I could be wrong.
So, he's about to get that contract next year, most likely. It's, or in the next 2 years. And, he has this opportunity to get better off. No matter what you say about Russell Wilson, he won a Super Bowl. He's got that under his belt. So it's a very interesting situation over there in Pittsburgh. And if they get IU, because they got rid of Pickens. No. Did they get rid of Pickens?
No. They got rid of
Deontay Johnson.
Yes.
Yeah, that's who they got rid of.
This is his 3rd year, correction. I Googled.
He's going into his 3rd year.
He was drafted in 2021.
Why do I feel like Justin Fields has been in the league for like 18 years?
Because he was on the Bears. And I thought it was so funny, all the memes of people being like, Steelers fans having to take back all the times they called Lamar Jackson a running back now that they have Justin Fields.
That is so funny. I love that. It's so funny because obviously, I like Lamar Jackson and my brother is not at all a Ravens fan in any stretch of the, like he'll respect Lamar's game, but he doesn't like Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Which is fair. Like, he's on his rival division team.
That'd be like us. It's us, how we feel about Dak Prescott.
Exactly. It's like you respect him, but you don't like him.
Yes.
And I forgot we were talking about the Super Bowl, because my dad was just like, oh yeah, the Eagles are like really making moves and this and that, and like I'm really interested, do you think they'll make it back to another Super Bowl? And I was like, sorry, God, I hope not. And I was like, I'd rather see the Ravens in the Super Bowl. And my brother goes, I'd rather see the Eagles in the Super Bowl. And I was like, whoa.
Whoa.
We do not have the time/space to fight right now. I was like, chill out. I'm trying to watch the Eras Tour movie with my parents.
No. It was so funny. Side note real quick. During the Eras Tour, the Keenan Allen news broke. And I kind of like how you felt at the bar. And I was like freaking out. I'm with Robbie, my sister, and his sister. They couldn't even tell me who Keenan Allen was, what team he played for. I'm like, I'm standing here in this corner. They're all watching the Eras Tour. I'm like looking up what he got traded for. I'm freaking out.
Do you not remember FaceTiming me?
Oh my God, I did FaceTime you.
I didn't even have a moment to say I looked after the fact. I had the notification for less than a minute on my phone. Jordan's calling me, and at this point, it's like 9:30 in the evening, like 10 o'clock at night.
I think it was 10.
Yeah, and I'm sitting in bed, and like my heart drops because I'm like, if Jordan's calling me for any reason this late at night, like it's for something. Like she's not just calling me for fun. And I answered the phone, and I was like, hello? And you were like, Keenan Allen just went to the Bears. And I was like, what?
And then my follow-up was, who is Justin going to throw to next year? And Sam was like, I don't know.
Like the entire LA Chargers roster is empty. Justin Fields is like you said, like you put out the meme from Fresh Prince, they just standing in an empty room, and I literally was like, I don't know, Jordyn, and she was just like, oh my god, I can't believe this is happening. I'm watching the Eras Tour movie, and I was like, Jordyn, I'm getting bombarded with information right now that I had no idea what was going on. And it was a jarring experience, but
I was so overall. I actually completely forgot that I called you. That is hysterical. I wasn't even drinking, which is the funniest part. I'm crying.
I thought that's what you were gonna bring up before, was the fact that you called me.
I did, and Sam was there for me. She was a real one. And going back to kind of what you were saying about your brother and you, like, your rivals, I feel so bad because my sister's longtime boyfriend, they've been together for like 6 years. So he's like family at this point. Like, I don't remember her without him. They're longtime high school sweethearts, but he's become like one of my best friends, and he's like my football buddy. And he's a huge Cleveland Browns fan. And me, he grew up, granted, he grew up in Ohio. He moved here.
He was a Vikings fan.
So I got him a Justin Jefferson jersey. That's probably why. He loves Justin Jefferson. So he grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, moved here when him and my sister were in 8th grade, and they were best friends, and then started dating 3 years later and have been together ever since. So cute. I love him. I've literally known him for like 10 years now. But so he's huge Cleveland Browns fan, and he likes the Eagles like with us now. And he supports the Eagles. He has a bunch of Eagles jersey, but like always his heart's with Cleveland. And it's so funny because the AFC North is like probably arguably my favorite division. I like all of the teams in there enough. Obviously, I wish the Browns had a different quarterback. Different conversation, but they're kind of swaggier now. They're a little better. They got that like underdog. I love Myles Garrett. So like I fuck with the Browns. I fuck with the Steelers. I would die for Lamar Jackson. And obviously Joey B. Like that's just a fun division. But he gets so mad at me because I talk so highly of the Bengals. I talk so highly of the Steelers. I talk so highly of the Ravens. He's like, you can't hate one of them. He's like, you have to love all of them. Like
great division. What do you mean?
I'm like, they're all so fun.
Oh. That's hilarious. I don't know why. I guess I did think he was a Vikings fan because of the Justin Jefferson jersey.
Probably.
But what a journey we've been on so far.
This has been a journey.
But yeah, so Justin Fields is a Steeler. Justin Herbert doesn't have anybody to throw to. I watched Austin Eckler on the Commanders, whatever introductory press conference or something, and I was like, this is really fucking weird, and I literally watched for about 15 seconds and I was like, I can't do this, and I exited out.
For some reason I feel like when there's a trade and I see a player in the New Jersey, I'm like, oh sick, it's only Washington. Whenever they go to Washington, I'm like, this feels wrong. Same thing with Zach Ertz. Granted, that one was an Eagles one, but yeah, Austin Eckler felt weird there. I was like, I don't feel comfy.
Wait,
did you hear that Netflix is dropping Receiver?
Oh, yes. I'm so excited. That George Kittle one is going to hit so hard. I'm telling you, it's going to be so good.
You know what else is going to be so good? Seeing there's Debo on there and there's Kittle on there. And so we are going to get to see the 49ers sat in their locker room after the Super Bowl.
I'm sure you're just going to love that.
Worship.
You're gonna love that. On another quick little side note, I promise you that this has to do with football, but I had a lot of wedding invitations left over, and I figured out through wedding TikTok that there are certain brands and certain things that you can send your wedding invitations to, and a lot of times they'll get back to you and like either send you free stuff or they'll send you like a cute little note and like all this stuff. So I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna send out some of my extra invitations. So I sent out an extra invitation to the New York Giants, obviously.
Yes.
And I wrote at the bottom, I said, please tell Daniel Jones he is my quarterback and he always will be. And I've supported him since the night that he got drafted. Also, he can come to the wedding too if he so chooses. Best wishes, Samantha and Michael. And I put it in the mailbox.
I swear to God, if Daniel Jones shows up to your wedding, I will die on the spot.
I would genuinely pass away.
That would be freaking amazing.
Like, if that tall ass green bean of a man walked into my reception, I would just be like, this is not real. This is not happening. I don't even know what I'd do. Even when I don't care if the day comes where that man is just such garbage that like I can't even defend him anymore. I think I will just always appreciate him as a person, if that makes any sense.
No, you're entirely valid for that.
I just love him. I love him in his weirdness and his bizarre everything. Anyway, just had to throw that out there.
We had to have a Daniel Jones.
I just had to bring him up. We have to find a way to bring up Daniel Jones. But the reason why I was thinking about that is because then I was thinking about quarterback, which you still haven't watched, and I know that you haven't watched because you would have told me, and that he was supposed to be on the next season of quarterback. But I don't know if since they're doing receiver now, I don't even know if they're doing a season 2 of quarterback.
That's a good question. I don't know. And are they going to go to other positions? Like, imagine if we get like a linebacker.
I'd love the shit out of that. Honestly, any defensive end or anything. What?
The Eagles could make history in this draft. Are you ready for this? There is a white safety named Cooper DeJean out of Iowa.
Okay.
If we draft him, our 2 starting safeties will be white boys.
Is that like the first time ever?
I think so. Everyone's talking about it like it's a very big deal. And you know what? I'm rooting for them, and I hope they pop off. I also actually talent-wise, I kind of want Kool-Aid, but
Kool-Aid,
not for the name,
right? Something like that.
The name is amazing, but I just really like him as a player. But it would be really cool to see Cooper and Reed Blankenship out there fucking people up.
That would be really fun.
Right?
Oh, man. Yeah, what was I just going to say? Oh, the Kool-Aid is one of them. And then there's Chop Robinson, I think his last name is. I found out that his name is Chop because when he was born, his mother told him or said that he looked like a pork chop. So they started calling him Chop, which I think is really cute.
The cutest thing ever.
Yeah. We're gonna have a draft show, even if we're not doing our normal draft content. We'll have a pre-draft show where we just talk about these men as if they're little babies.
Sam,
because they are.
We have to ask the question.
Yeah.
Are we doing a round 1 mock draft?
No. Absolutely fucking not. I hate mock drafts. I'm not putting myself through that. I got enough things on my plate right now.
There is nothing that Sam and I. There was one year we did every round, right?
No, we did 1 full round. We did picks 1 to 32.
And I nearly didn't make it.
No, I don't think we could ever do an entire 7 round. Right,
damn,
7?
That means I put that much time into the first round.
Yeah. No, we put all of our effort into that 32 pick first round, and we milked it. We made so much content with that 1 mock draft. We didn't change it. We didn't edit it. I think we did 1 trade, and then that was it.
Yep.
We were like, we can't. I don't know how people do this for a living.
And then by pick, I think 7, it all went. None of it mattered anymore. Because then the Eagles were trading. They got ahead of the Giants that year. That's when we took Smitty.
Oh, look at that. Yes, I remember. And I was just like, how dare you?
Yep.
And you guys colluded with the freaking Cowboys to do it.
No.
I was like, I feel so freaking used. I'm embarrassed. And then last year when we did our video on the Sporty Jordy channel, and the Texans traded up to 3 for Will Anderson Jr. We were like, this is why we don't do mock drafts, because nobody in their entire world of mock drafts had the Texans choosing 2 and 3 back-to-back picks.
No.
Not one singular person. If you did, show us the proof, because I would love to see that, because there's no way. And then the Cardinals were just like, I'm just going to keep on trading back and trading back and trading back. And we were like, when are the Cardinals going to pick? Never. Anyway, we are very, very, very into the draft. So
yes, no, the draft, I don't get why people shit on the draft. I think it's so fun. It's so entertaining. Let yourself be dramatic. Let yourself be over the top. It's fun. Like, enjoy it.
Look what happens.
Yes.
It's dramatic as hell.
It's so dramatic. Every quarterback drafted in you know what? I almost just said a statistic that I cannot even remember and would have been entirely wrong. But I saw a breakdown of how like every quarterback, was it from 2021? That every single quarterback is either cut in the UFL or traded. Like no one is on their original teams.
From what year?
I think 2021.
Well, no, you just said oh no, not on their teams.
Yes.
Okay.
Because like, wait here, 2021, maybe the only one was Brock Purdy 21? No,
he might have been 2022.
Yeah. So it was, listen to this. So Trevor Lawrence, safe.
Okay.
He's good. Justin Fields, traded. Yep. Mac Jones, traded. Or was he signed?
He was traded.
Traded. Zach Wilson, about to be cut. Trey Lance, traded. Like they're all. Mac Jones is now Trevor Lawrence fucking backup.
That's crazy. From the same draft class? That's crazy.
In the same round.
That's crazy. Damn. Did you see, I think I sent it to you on Instagram. Did you see that video of him talking at his first press conference?
Of Mac Jones?
Yeah.
No, I don't think I saw it.
He literally said, because he's from Jacksonville. So his parents live down there. And
I saw his like intro video, but I didn't see press conference.
And they were like, oh yeah, like, what's it called? Are you going to go like stay with your parents or something? And he was like, haha, no. And he was like, actually, I got to be out of here in 30 minutes. My mom is picking me up. And I was like, damn it, Mac Jones. Don't be funny and make me like you.
That's hysterical.
No, it was really cute. I don't even know. Maybe I didn't send it to you. I thought
you probably did. I'm awful with that stuff.
No, it's okay. It was just, I was like, dang, Mac Jones is like kind of funny.
Don't tell me that.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I was like, I never liked Mac Jones. Especially then he got freaking drafted by the Patriots. Anyway, I think we could go on.
Oh, yeah. This could become an entire NFL episode. We are going to stop. And now we are going to make our transition into our new favorite segment. And we have so much to talk about. And as always, before we get into it, spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. If you have not yet read, we love you and we will see you next week. This is for the real talk. And Sam has fucking finished A Court of Wings and Ruin.
Yes. So we have gotten through A Court of Thorns and Roses. We have gotten through A Court of Mist and Fury. We have finally finished A Court of Wings and Ruin. And I have to let you guys know that it is because of this show that I'm reading these so fast, is because I'm trying to get through every book in a timely manner so that we have this segment every week. I sat down yesterday and I I read 200 pages to finish A Court of Wings and Ruin. And I don't even regret a little bit of it. Where's my page? Okay, I have my little notes here that I was literally sitting here just like, I sat in this chair and I had like my little notepad here and I was just reading because I was like, I need to actively read, like I need to like remember what's going on. So I made little notes. And towards the end, they're just scribbles because I was starting to freak out.
Yep.
Because now the end of A Court in Mist and Fury is like plot line crazy. Like the things that happen, the backstabbingness of Tamlin and all that good stuff. But I feel like the ending to this book was more. Like I feel like there was like one thing after the other thing after the other thing after the other thing. And it just like didn't stop.
Yes.
And that was like, I still think now that I've read both books, I understand how you felt like A Court of Wings and Ruin was your favorite. And then like after reflection, A Court of Mist and Fury became your favorite. And I think I understand exactly what you mean by that, because Wings and Ruin is a very, very, very good book with an incredible story and incredible ending. And then Mist and Fury is like leading up to that. And I think that it's like it is the lead up that makes it that good of a book, if that makes sense.
Yes.
But then the Wings and Ruin give you the meat and potatoes of the whole story after things have been set up and everything. And we'll just go through.
Yes. And also, before we jump in, I just want to say, when you text me that you finished, it took everything in me. I almost FaceTimed you, but I was like, I want to hear her reactions on the pod. So I've been patient, and now I want you to tell me everything.
First of all, I loved it. I would sit down today and start from the beginning of that book and read it over again. It was excellent. So I think when we ended last week, they had just gotten into the summer court. There was like some war going on or a battle. And then I picked up at that High Lords meeting that went on for a very long time.
Yes.
But it wasn't boring. Like it was, they made it enough drama that I was able to stick it out. Because I was like, this was a lot of fairy politics. I don't know how I'm going to get through this. And I got through it. It was like, no problem. First things first, Tamlin walked in, like took his piece of shit pills right before he got there and just became the world's most hated character at that meeting. I was like, the things that was coming out of his mouth, I could not even believe. Like, the way that he was just like, he asked Rhys something like, he was like, oh yeah, like, he was just dropping like, you fucked her and this and that. And I was like, whoa!
In front of the table of all the other High Lords, I was like, chill!
I literally wrote Tamlin can die for real. That was my little note that I put there because it was nonsense. And then they were like smart to not share all their details with him because he did still become a traitor and go back to Highburn and like share a bunch of stuff with them. And this is something that I cannot stop thinking about this. And I was talking to Kat about it and she told me that it's never really like confirmed. I cannot get over the storyline of Hellion being Lucian's dad.
That's she's right. I'm glad she told you that because I wouldn't have said it if like without knowing that you knew that. I'm hoping there's one more book coming because like and this doesn't give anything away. It's something that's like thought of and like tossed, but like we don't really get an expansion on it. Like it's really just like this like theory. And I'm hoping that in the next book that comes out, there's at least some, I don't know if it's going to be like a Lucian book, but I'm hoping that's at least a part of it.
I obviously still have these 2 books left. So I'm still up in the air about Lucian. I'd like to think that we grow to love him the way that we loved him in like the first book. Because I do like him still. I think that his character arc is on the incline, but we're really not knowing where he stands right now. But when they said that and like it was the funniest thing. Feyre was just like, she just told Rhys down the bond. She was just like, that's Lucian's dad. And Rhys was like, what the fuck? Like, he was like, whoa! Like, his reaction was my reaction. And the crazy thing was that I was sitting in bed and Michael was playing video games and I was reading because that is like our designated enrichment time together is that he plays video games and I read, which I'm sure is very similar to your enrichment time.
A clone. A literal clone.
So I was sitting there and he literally, like, I see, it was just like, Hellion is Lucian's father. And I literally went, oh! And Michael like whipped around and turned to me and he goes, the bone carver? And I was like, that's the only thing you know from this book. Because I texted Jordyn this. I'm in our house. Our house is not very big. So Michael can hear everything that I'm saying right now. He can probably hear me telling this story right now. And as I was talking about the book last week, I was talking about her visit to the bone carver. And I walked into the room and I opened up my book later that night and I started reading again. He goes, so, how about that bone carver? And I was like, I appreciate you trying to relate to me.
No, it's so cute. I appreciate it. There was one time I hated the book. I finally finished it. Thank God. It was awful. I rated it a 2.
A Perfect
But
Marriage?
yes, but I was reading that one and Brian knew how much I hated it. He went on Goodreads and read other people's reviews of it to like talk about it with me. He was like, this girl said it was written by like a 5th grader. And I was like, she's right. And we were like bonding. It was just so sweet.
Oh, I love that. I love that so much.
They're cute. We have good ones.
Yeah. The funny thing is that I finished this book in a pretty quick amount of time. I mean, it's a 700-page book and I read it in a little under 2 weeks. Yeah, like it was pretty crazy. So when I walked into the room, I was putting that book away to then grab Frost and Starlight to like immediately begin the next one. And he goes, "No way you're done with this book." And I said, "Yeah, I'm done." He was like, "What about the Bone Carver?" And I had to break the news to him. The Bone Carver is dead. I was like, "No." And he was like, "Oh man, really?" He's like, "That's like the one thing that I knew."
When you were talking about it last week, I was like, oh no.
Michael's heart's gonna be broken. I know. But that's getting way ahead to the actual war part of that whole situation.
Keep going through the list.
Why did I write poor Elaine? Oh, because she gets kidnapped.
Yes. Oh my God, I forgot about that from the camp.
Yeah, I wrote poor Elaine because it was like this poor girl, she's just a mess, and the guy told her that he didn't love her anymore because she was Fae and like the whole thing. And I was like, fuck this guy. Like, we don't need him. He's probably not even that cute. And I was like, whatever. But then she gets kidnapped and I'm like, this poor girl can't catch a break. Like Elaine, and you could see her starting to like come out of her shell a little bit. And then she saw the Grayson guy again, and then she like secluded herself back again. And I was like, no, Elaine, you were doing so good. You were getting so much better. And I am now so confused as to what's going to happen with Elaine because she has this mating bond with Lucian, but her and Azriel have this very sweet connection. And obviously we know now that Moore and Azriel will never get together because guess what? Moore is gay. And that was a whole thing I genuinely wasn't expecting.
No.
I'm pretty sure
last week, again, it's so fun getting to talk about this because last week you were like, I'm still waiting on Moore and Azriel. Like, it's gonna happen. Like, he worships her. And I'm like, he does worship her, but
she does not worship him. But yeah, so I'm very interested because like the second she was taken, like Azriel was like, we're going to get her like now. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, sure.
You go get her.
Yeah, you go get her. And obviously now that relationship with Moore is something that we can't root for anymore because we just know it's not going to happen. But then there's this there's this mating bond between Lucian and Elaine. So I wonder if there's going to be some sort of... Poor Azriel keeps getting stuck in these freaking love triangles. This man, he needs somebody to love him. He needs that. He's such a sweet boy.
So sweet.
And then it starts my crying process. I cried 4 times reading this book. First time was when the cereal died. That really, I wasn't expecting to be as emotional.
I still think about the cereal. Like,
and obviously when you first hear about him in the first book, like he's very scary and like you have to ensnare him and like he could kill you and like you don't ever get like good vibes from him per se. But like the more she found him, the more she talked to him, and obviously he was the one that told her that Reese was her mate. And then I got to the part where he was just like, I told you to stay with the High Lord, and I was like, no.
The cereal was an unnecessary victim in this story
because a freaking Ianthe, fuck her. I'm so glad that she got her fucking head bit off.
Yeah.
Like, and it was just, yeah. I wrote, fuck you, Ianthe. I hope the Weaver ate you. So we never saw a body. who's to say? But everyone's assuming that she's dead. But yeah, that really hit me hard. And he, like, the fact that she was, like, really trying to save him, and he was just like, "No, you don't have to do that. Like, I'm gonna die, and it's gonna be fine." And I was like, "What?" Like, such a heroic death for, like, a scary Grim Reaper, like, type
And
of
wasn't
vibe?
he, I can't remember exactly what he said, but wasn't he saying, like, "Just be the good," or, like, "Just find the good"?
He was like Gandhi. He was like, "Be the change you wish to
Yes,
see in the world, Feyre." And she was like, "Okay."
sure.
You are so right, though. Unnecessary victim.
It literally was just to tug on the heartstrings, and let me tell you, it
It worked.
fucking worked.
It worked. So that was the first time, and that was so I finished this book today's Tuesday. I finished this book Monday.
Mhm.
I was reading that on Sunday night, and I was just like, certainly nothing could be sadder than this. The Lord literally said, "Guess what? No." And then Feyre becomes Ianthe to save Elaine. That was a whole other thing, which I was like, happened very quickly, by the way. And then Tamlin starts to have this character arc again, where he's being good. And I still get the vibe. I'm still like, okay.
No, I literally, and like, I know we're gonna get to it, but like
Yeah.
the moment that
Yeah.
is the most soul crushing, scariest moment of everyone's journey reading this
Sure.
book.
Yes.
When we get there, and then he fucking helps. Like, you're gonna make me like you? I'm sorry, I appreciate him. I will never forgive him.
Well, that's the thing. It's like that same ick that I got from the first book, that like, even though they were like together, I still was like, I don't really know. I was getting when he was like saving them. And you could see Feyre like still kind of like, not that she still has feelings for him, but she's like, obviously, like, that man is saving her right now. And she's like, he didn't have to do that. He didn't have to come out here and save her, but he did. And if he didn't, they wouldn't be alive.
Yeah.
Like, they were not going to be making it out of that camp without him not sacrificing himself, because he didn't die, but like sacrificing the relationship that he had with Hybern, even though it was a shitty relationship.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I also started calling him Tam Tam, which I then found out on the internet that is a very common thing. I thought that was something that I made up in my brain. People call him Tam Tam. I'm not calling him Tam Tam.
Tam Tam. I'm down.
Like, Tam Tam when he's like kind of okay.
Yeah.
Tampon when he's being a piece of shit.
Yes. Tam Tam when he's saving Reese's life.
Mm-hmm.
Tam Tam. When you're asking Reese publicly in front of all the High Lords how he fucks your ex. Tampon.
Literally. Yeah. I fucking hate him. And then a bunch of more stuff happens. The next time I cried was when Reese gives his like last speech before they all go out into battle. And again, didn't expect myself to cry, but like the way he was saying it, I was like, again, and you've said this, how you feel like these characters are like your friends. So I'm like, there's no way everyone's making it out of this. Like, I was genuinely concerned that we were not going to have one of these people, which we had our moments where things were not looking great for a lot of different people. But like, I was like, somebody has to die. And this is the last time they're all gonna have this conversation. So then I started getting misty-eyed. I was like, oh no, somebody's gonna die. And
I'm like, when I was reading that, I was like, bitch, we all know this.
Yes.
Why are you making us like hear it, grasp it, like fully comprehend it? I prefer to live in a delusion. Yeah. But
and the thing is, like, Reese has slowly become less of that like asshole type of vibe about him from when we first saw him, because he was putting on this act, this charade. But like, now that we are learning who he is with Feyre, obviously, because she's getting to know him more and more and more as this year has gone by, and like, he isn't like that. He is a very good and very loving and kind person. And you just see it start to come out. And I'm just like, damn, Reese, like, why you gotta do me like that, dude? And then this is when everything, it's just everything starts to happen. And I was like ready for Feyre to be like, oh, hey, look what I did. I got us the Bone Carver and I got Bryaxis or whatever his name is. And then Rhys was just like, oh, hey, I got us the Weaver. And I was like, I was like, no way. I was like, yeah, we're winning this war, baby. We got this. Such a good, like the fact that they were both doing that, it just made me so happy.
Yes.
It was such a good moment. And
they get each other.
They do. Are you ever into like Marvel and like seeing those movies in theaters at all?
No, I'm not like against it at all. I just never got into it and I feel so behind, but it's been on my bucket list to like go through.
Okay.
But no, unfortunately not yet. The only one I've ever seen is Iron Man, the first one.
Okay. So without spoiling anything for you, for if you want to watch these movies later on, in Avengers Infinity War, there's a moment where like they're in the middle of this war, and again, not giving anything away, but like Captain America's kind of like pushed up against the wall. You think it's kind of the end for him.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody shows up. And I just gave myself chills because I saw that movie in theaters because I had been watching the Marvel movies every time they came out, and that moment, and like he says like Avengers assemble, and it's like I'm giving myself goosebumps just thinking about it. It's such a good moment. And when all of the camps come out onto the field and Tamlin's there, Baron is there, everybody shows up for them, the freaking human army shows up, I was like, this is my Avengers assemble. I got the same feeling like, yes. And then the boats show up and Draken and Miriam show up. And I was like, that was my other Avengers assemble moment that I was like, I'm like lightheaded thinking about it. But it was like, obviously a lot of things happen in between those two guys showing up. Yes. But I was like, oh my God, like every single time it was like getting bleaker and bleaker and bleaker and bleaker. It was like, here's a shimmer of hope. And then it was like, and then it was like, oh, we're getting bleak again. Nothing's looking good. And it was just like things just kept showing up and showing up. And I was like,
no, that was one of the best surprises in any book I've ever read, ever. Because not only was it them, it was also the father, which
cry number 3. Cry number 3. Dad shows up. I wrote, Dad.
I feel so betrayed that we can't know how he got to that point.
It's very unfortunate because the second I was texting you this. Wait, was I texting you this? Yes.
I think so.
Yes, because I was like, or I might have been texting Kat. I don't remember, but either way, I'll just repeat it. Basically, I was just like, oh my, this was my thought process. Oh my God, Dad's here. Oh, three daughters. Yes, 3 daughters. That's him. It's Dad. And he was like, he shows up and he's all ready. And he's like, and I'm like, oh my God, they're going to bring him back to Valeris and they're going to have such a fun time with him. And he's going to be able to see all of his daughters and this and that and blah, blah. And then I went, oh no. Just heartbreaking. And for all of them to see it, for Nesta, this poor woman is so traumatized by everything in this freaking world. Like, she's like, fuck this. I hate this. Oh my God. It was hard. And I thought, this is going to be the last one. This is the last. Nope. Guess what? Rhys dies. Nobody told me. Nobody prepared me mentally.
Obviously.
Oh my freaking God. I was sobbing because I felt her emotion like, no, like this can't happen.
Now that you know about that, I'm going to send you a TikTok video. The audiobook of that moment, like for people who listen to books, it literally, I hear it on my TikTok all the time now. And she's like, Reese. And the audiobook voice sounds just like what I would picture her to sound like. Sam, it is, I'm covered in goosebumps right now. Like, it's a lot.
I could feel it just through the writing. So to actually physically hear it would be insane. Absolutely insane. But as we were talking about Tamlin before, everybody's putting their power into Reese to bring him back to life the same way that they brought Feyre back to life. And then, well, Mor does have to threaten Baron a little bit to get him to do that because he's the fucking Autumn Court and they fucking suck.
Yeah.
And it was, I genuinely didn't think he was going to do it. I genuinely was like, we're going to have to find a different way to bring Reese back to life because Tamlin is going to be a little bitch. And he's not going to do it. And he's not going to put his little kernel of power. And then he said, be happy, Feyre. And he put it in. And I was like, damn it, Tam. Why you gotta be like that, dude? why you gotta have this like weird redemption arc that nobody wants you to have? Like, let us hate him.
No, literally. Also, there was one crazy part that we missed. Or did we not get there yet?
I'm getting there.
Okay.
We're talking about the king?
Yes!
Okay.
And Nesta and Cassian.
First of all, when Nesta feels the cauldron, like the power or whatever, and she knows it's gonna like explode, and she goes, Cassian! I was like, has the mate bond snapped into place yet? Dear fucking God. Like, oh my God. And then he just I just pictured him just like shooting up into the air and then like beelining to her. Damn. But yeah, and then he's like almost dead. Then I was like, oh, it's Cassian that's gonna die.
Yeah.
Like that's gonna be it. And then Elaine, which I will show you my note where I wrote Elaine. It just turns into a scribble because I was so proud of her. Because like I said, she went up, she went down, she was sad, she was happy, she was gardening again and doing her thing and whatever. And she kills the king of Highburn. And I was like, good for you, Elaine! You did that for your father! They avenged their father's death. And then Nesta gruesomely continues to kill him. And good, because he's a piece of shit too.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah. But then, yeah. And then, the last big thing that I was like a little bit concerned about was the possibility of Amryn betraying everybody. And I was very confused and very concerned about what was going on there. But then she just was like, no, I just want to revert back to my original form and help and kill everything for you guys so you guys can be happy. And then she just came back like, no problem.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. Nothing to worry about there.
That I was like, what? Like I was freaking out for a second.
When she did that, like when it was like Feyre like got stuck on the cauldron.
Yeah. And she left her or something?
I don't, honestly, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't know what happened. I don't know what events transpired when that was going on. Couldn't tell you. But at the end of it all,
it was fine.
Yes.
No, I'm kind of in that. I feel like there was just so much happening at that point that my brain was like mush. This is a series that eventually I want to read like all of Throne of Glass. I want to read Crescent City. But this is the series that eventually in the next year or two, I want to go back and just fully reread.
Yeah, because I know that it's going to be like one of those series where you're going to pick up on things earlier on that happen that you figure out later that you're
I've already seen like when people post TikToks of A Court of Thorns and Roses. Like I never put together like when Reese sees her at the orgy and he's like, I've been looking for you.
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh my God, it makes so much sense.
Yeah. It's like there's probably a bunch of things like that in these books that just they're just so good. And then obviously we win the war and everybody lives, which is bananas. Really thought we were gonna lose somebody there. Like some sort of death was gonna stick. But yeah, it was quite a journey. And then we have a very, mellow last few pages where they're just returning home and figuring out life and eating and drinking, and you're just like, okay, cool. And it's like, I've heard Frost and Starlight is a very good palate cleanser for the events of this book. So I'm about 20 pages into Frost and Starlight. I'm going to assume by the next episode we'll be talking about Frost and Starlight because that's this big.
You could, if you're not doing anything this weekend, you could literally sit down and like kill it in one evening. It's that, especially compared to the others.
Yeah, so we're keeping on track here. I'm gonna go to Barnes and Noble tomorrow to pick up Silver Flame so that I have it in my possession, because I don't have it in my possession right now because I didn't think I was gonna be going through these books this fast. But
I told you to just buy them all at once.
I know. I know. I should have listened.
It's okay.
But now I'm just gonna go back to Barnes and Noble and maybe get a coffee or something and buy a book.
Yes. Oh my God. Well, I cannot wait. Frost and Starlight, you are correct, is the absolute perfect palette cleanser. And then Silver Flames is... Do you know anything about Silver Flames?
Nope.
I'm not going to say a single word.
I know literally nothing about any of these storylines. And the crazy thing is, I think my TikTok is like algorithming correctly, because every single TikTok that I see that has to do with Court of Thorns and Roses, I've not seen a single thing that I've thought, oh, I don't know about that. Like, I think it knows what I've read up to.
That's crazy. Maybe your FBI agent watches the podcast.
Hi.
Hey, thanks for taking care of us.
Thanks for not spoiling anything for me. Now I'm going to say that, and I'm going to get something spoiled for me. But so far, so good. So far, I've genuinely have not one single thing spoiled for me through this entire series.
Oh, that is what we love to hear. I love our book talk segments. If you like our book talk segments, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to us over here on the YouTube channel, and then follow us across all social medias. You can find us on TikTok, Instagram, and Threads at the Unsolicited_podcast. You can find us on Twitter at Sam and Jordyn by episode 39. We really have this outro done. And then make sure to find us wherever you get your audio podcasts. And do not forget, make sure to join the Unsolicited March Madness Bracket Challenge. We will put it in the description of this video, and we will put it in all of our social medias so you have access there as well. And we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.